Hello, After Buzzers. We've got a lot to talk about today. We've got more singers, circus acts, and virtual reality. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Sit down, be humble. Sit down, be humble. Bitch, sit down.
Oh my gosh, guys, it is great to see you. I am your host, Sean Paul Payton, and we're going to be talking about all the acts that were in episodes 3 and 4. Yes, this is the America's Got Talent Season 13, episodes 3 and 4 review on AfterBuzz TV. So let's go ahead and get straight into this. One of my biggest concerns with my overall thoughts on the episodes was I was seeking originality. And I know that all the judges on that panel, as well as you guys at home, were looking for the same thing because being 13 seasons into the game now, we've seen so much stuff, so much talent already, and so many silly acts too. Like some of those guys, they get on the show and you're just like, whoa, what are they thinking? But that's okay because I noticed, as well as I know a lot of you have noticed, that there was a lot of the same, but they were able to give their own unique spin on it. So we're going to be talking about that, as well as I've got a couple of fan shout outs that I'm going to do a little bit later with the fan question of the day as well. And so let's go ahead and start off with the performers. The first thing that I want to say is that wow, these kids on this show are amazing. Like every single year, they just get better and better and better. And feel free to comment on this, guys, but what do you think about all the kids that are coming on the shows now? I know that earlier on in earlier seasons, it felt like some of the parents were just rushing their kids to get on there and they weren't even ready. They weren't prepared at all. And I felt sad and sorry for the kids, but nowadays, like everyone is just on another level, and you can clearly see it with some of our performers today. The first one that I'm going to talk about is Sophie. She came in and she was singing her heart out. She was very cute. The Frank Sinatra throwback was just amazing, and I have to say that she did very, very well. When I saw her, I kind of thought, wow, she could be in commercials or something of that nature. She seemed very marketable. I would definitely pass her on because, I mean, she's just adorable, man. So right after that, we had Six and Lucia, and they were a quick change act. So when I saw this act, I thought, well, quick change is cool. I've seen it before, though, so how are they really going to make this different? And they had a little bit of humor in it, so that was pretty cool. But they put it all together pretty well. And you tend to wonder, how are they going to continue that episode after episode after episode? Like, will they just stick with the quick change? Or will they incorporate some other kind of magical act into what they're doing? But either way, I think that they deserve to move on as well. So there was another thing that really stood out to me, especially when the viral act Noah Guthrie came out. He was a YouTuber, and his channel has millions and millions of views. He's clearly talented. You can see it just from the performance that he had. He was playing his guitar, he was singing, he did an outstanding job. What really stood out to me was the fact that Noah was on Glee. And when you have the big break, as they say in Hollywood, a lot of people are thinking, wow, this is it for you, dude. You're just going to keep going and going and going and rising, and nothing's going to stop you. Well, lo and behold, here he is on America's Got Talent. Glee stopped, and like Noah said on the show, once that stopped, his job was over. And I would not be surprised if some people have seen him busting tables, working at a bar, working in retail. I mean, I've done pretty much all of those things. I've been in retail. I've been I've worked at a bar. I've done so many different things, and that is just a testament to how difficult it is out here in Hollywood. You have to struggle. You have to have persistence. But he couldn't be knocked down. And it was just great to see that now he has another opportunity. Even if he doesn't make it to the final round of this show, he has another opportunity for more exposure. And maybe some agents will see him and some managers will see him, and he will find some way to reignite his career. So now, in episode 3, this guy was just, I don't know what to say. This guy Sethward comes on, and they give his intro, and I'm thinking, okay, guy from California, he looks like he's gonna do something kind of cool, but what is he gonna do? And this dude gets on there, and he's like talking in this real crazy voice, like, whoa, and I'm just like, oh, dude, what are you doing here? And then he puts on some sort of worm costume, and he's just crawling around on the floor, and nothing's happening. He's just being goofy. And I think that was one of my favorite performances, just because the dude was bizarre. And he even went down and got close to the judges, and I was just like, whoa, man, slow down. So you guys that are watching, I want you to tell me what you thought of Sethward, because that dude he was gnarly, man. And, you know, he tried to transform, but I don't think he transformed well enough for the judges. I would not have passed him. He's got to figure something out. But I appreciated the comedic value of his presence. So now let's talk about Future Kings. Future Kings impressed me. Now I've taken some dance classes, and I've done some things in dance, which I'm very happy and thankful for. But seeing the Future Kings, they really knew what they were doing. They were from Chicago. They threw in some Chicago footwork, which I thought was awesome. One of my favorite dance classes I've taken. And it was cool because they added a little element of their hometown footwork. They had their choreo. They had some tricks in there. And yeah, it was amazing. And of course, I love the track, you know, Kendrick Lamar bringing it like that. But it's going to be a tough competition because we've got a lot of good dancers on the show. The dancers and singers are plentiful on this show. So I just wonder how Future Kings are going to last with all the other dancers. I feel like they're going to be one of the best ones to just stick with it, but then we get into the virtual reality stuff, which I'll talk about a little bit later. And as a matter of fact, that was the next act. It was I think it was Shinchin and Lee's virtual reality. I'm sorry. This was Shinchin and Lee was on there, but we also had Yuri, and his virtual reality was the one that really stood out to me. It was Yuri and Constantine. When I was watching this the whole time, I was just thinking, wow, this seems like this would be a really fun ride. And it definitely threw me into like a video game kind of virtual reality experience where he's climbing up and he's like wall crawling like he's Spider-Man or something. And then towards the end, he's just falling and falling and falling. And it's amazing to see what America's Got Talent is creating, or what people are creating to bring to America's Got Talent as the years go by and we get better and better technology to mess around with to add to our performances. So I would have to say that he was definitely one of the best ones as well, those two. And I really hope to see them make it pretty far in this competition. So let's see here. We've also got, oh, and another thing I wanted to mention too was just how original that was, because he's sticking with the times and he's finding a way to incorporate technology into a performance, and that was very well done. Miss Trish was awesome. I loved, guys, there were so many great performances. I'm just impressed, but Miss Trish was great. It was funny seeing how she interacted with Simon. I think the only thing I would say though is that I didn't feel a lot of, like, it didn't seem as unique. By the time I'd seen that virtual reality performance, I was pretty much done for the rest of the episode. Them and the Future Kings really did it for me. But Miss Trish is skilled. She's very skilled, and I hope that even if she doesn't win this competition, she ends up doing something to make a little money off of the skills that she has with her voice. Now, we also had Lord Nil right after that. It was pretty impressive, pretty exciting. We had Hans, which Hans was he was another funny one. He was man. He had sass. He had style. He could not stop him. He was going to do whatever he could to own that stage. And Hans is somebody that I feel like would be great for musical theater. I've seen some good shows out here, and I could totally see him just doing something with musical theater if he hasn't already. And it's cool. He was doing a lot of different stuff. He was playing his instrument. He was dancing. He just put on a full show. Now we have some more comedy here with, I believe it was Samuel J. And he had Tourette's. Now, this guy was cool because it reminded me of Kanye, where Kanye is saying in his newer song, like, it's not a disability, it's a superpower. And he was able to incorporate his Tourette's into his comedy so that he could make people laugh. And that just shows you that him, as well as some other performers for episode 3 and 4, show you that there's really no excuses anymore, guys. We can, no matter what's going on in our lives, what difficulty we faced. I mean, I always like to think of 50 Cent because he got shot 9 times. His mom was killed. His father was never around when he was younger. And everybody has a story and the struggles that they face. So when you see a performance like that, knowing that he has something that would be classified as a disability, it's great to see that he's pushed past that and not let it hold him back. So that, I think, was one of the most motivating moments in this episode. And I love when they throw stuff like that in there because it makes you look at your own life and just realize that, hey, what am I complaining for? You know, life's pretty good. So I want to see him continue on. And that was pretty much it for this episode. For episode 3, we had Courtney after that. She really blew me away with the style of her voice because, you know, she just looked like a little girl, but when she started singing, it was like, wow, I'm listening to like an adult performer, and she was dancing and singing and everything. So she was really great too. And I really got to say, though, that out of all the performances that we had in this episode, Seth Ward was just crazy. And Yuri and Constantine, that was definitely very impressive with their virtual reality. And then also, I would say those two are the ones that really stood out to me. Those two, you know, good and bad ways. So let's go ahead and look at episode 4. With episode 4 here, we had Miss Sarah with the Voices of Hope Children's Choir. That was really cute. It was good to see the kids coming back again, and there was a ton of them this time. And it was great that Miss Sarah was able to get all the kids together, and somehow, you got to say she's a great manager because of her team, because she was able to get all those kids together, get their parents to coordinate their schedules to where they could come out for this and have a great opportunity to be in front of America and everybody else on the internet after the show's uploaded online. So it's great that she was able to do that. And that was another one where I felt like maybe they would be good in a commercial or something with musical theater, maybe some sort of show of that nature. But I want to see what they can do to make it more original, because there's so many great kids out there and so many great choirs that I think Simon said this in the show. Everybody's going to have some way to stand out. So let's move on to the next. We have Quinn and Misha. Oh, there was a lot of couples on this show, a lot of couples, and it was just kind of funny to see their dynamics as well. I think that was a great idea by the producers, just to have that little bit of humor in there and show that some couples are working it out, some aren't. Maybe some will be better couples after they win. Who knows? But Quinn and Misha, they were, whew, I couldn't believe that she was 71. That was very impressive. When I'm sure that some of you guys at home, when you saw her, you thought maybe she was in her 30s or 40s, and I was just blown away. But yeah, I think she's one of the best ones of that episode. There's a couple more that I want to reach on to here. And Lore's the mentalist comedian, high road comedian. Even though this, he put a real original take on it for me, just because I really I couldn't tell at the end whether or not he was being serious, or maybe it was part of his act, or maybe he was being serious. What do you guys think? Be sure to comment on that. And by the way, guys, I do want to let you know, when you like, when you comment, subscribe, that adds to the interaction on the show. We love that. I love to see what you guys are saying, like what you want to see more of in the show, what you didn't like. Just let us know about that too, because we always want to improve and make things great for our viewers. And at this time too, I do want to thank Maria and Keven, because they're the ones that have started this whole thing up for us to be on here to present these shows to you and these after shows to you. So thank you to our founders, and let's go ahead and get back into this a little bit. So yeah, Quinn and Misha, I think that was impressive. They're somebody that I would definitely love to see move on to the next round. And Lore's the mentalist comedian. Now, if I had to pick between the two, I would definitely go with Quinn and Misha, just because their talent was pretty raw. But Lore's, I kind of want him to move on too. And I know I'm probably making some of you guys mad, because I'm like, I love everybody, but you know, there was Sethward in the last episode. He should not pass. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on. We've got the child singers here again, and Jeffrey came up with "Raise Me Up." It was a great show, but this is one where I think he's going to have some skill, and he's going to have some opportunities to get some gigs, get some jobs. It's just, I'm a little concerned with originality again, because we have a lot of kids that are on here, and they're all trying to make it, and they're all sweet. They're all really dedicated to what they're doing. I just wonder if we can have, like, I was kind of surprised that I didn't see any kids. There's got to be something they can do to switch it up, other than just being, you know, the cute kid that's singing, because again, there's so many, and you know, unfortunately, not everybody can be a winner. So, good hustle to Jeffrey, but let's go ahead and move on to the next once again. And we have, it was just a quick clip with Shannon and Reckon. The dog tricks were pretty cool. Reminded me though of the cat tricks we saw in episode 1. And honestly, I was more impressed with the cats, man, because you don't usually see the cats, just like they said before, just like the comments have been said before, you don't usually see cats doing that kind of stuff. And it was just funny. And you know, the internet loves cats, so you just can't. I would go for the cats over the dogs. Although I do like cats and dogs. German Shepherds are one of my favorite dogs. And yeah, let's move on. Oh, a fun debate for you guys. If you want to fight over which is better, dogs or cat, by all means, comment on that as well. I'm giving you guys lots to talk about in these comments. And let's see here. We also have next, there was a great act that was kind of like it felt like it could be a Vegas act. when I was first watching it, that's what I was thinking. Maybe this would be cool for Vegas. It was another one of those dark ones. Yes, it was Dance Team UDI. And at first I thought, oh, okay, well, I've seen this before. You know, everything goes dark and they've got like the hand movements and everything's all cool and stuff. Great, but how original is it? Not really convinced yet. Now, I did like when they started to have that fight scene, though. That was pretty cool. I loved some of what it seemed like to me was references to The Matrix and Star Wars. That was pretty cool. And that was a good performance. They definitely deserve to move on. I am curious to see how they're going to keep it interesting because we have seen a lot of performances like that in the past. So hopefully they can do something to keep that originality because, again, originality is my biggest concern with a lot of the acts now that we're in season 13. And let's get to the ventriloquist. Yeah, this is one where I guess we can't pass them, and neither did the judges. So yep, that's one that does not get a pass, unfortunately. But keep hustling, guys. It's gonna be all right. So something interesting happened after that. We had another singer, and she was Asian. And what I thought about was that I feel like we don't have a lot of Asian singers that are like at the top of the charts right now. As a matter of fact, like all I can think about is, I mean, we got Jersey Drake, we got Gambino, we got Kendrick Lamar. We got a lot of hip hop on the top. That's pretty cool, man. Imagine Dragons, they're bringing it for rock, and then we got our pop stars, you know, Justin Bieber and everybody. But I can't recall any Asian singers being at the top of the charts lately. And if you guys can think of some that are really hot that I'm just not recalling, definitely comment on that too. But that is something I'd like to see. I'd like to see somebody that is Asian. Oh, there was years ago, G6, like a G6 by, oh my God, I'm blanking on the name, but it would be cool to see some more. And then there was Gangnam Style. That was an awesome little take that we had. But I wonder if we could get like an
Far East Movement does like a
Far
G6.
East Movement. That was the one. And I wonder if we could get, you know, more Asian pop stars over here, because over in the other countries we got the K-pop, we got the J-pop. I think we should show some love over here in America and see if we can do something about that. And that also reminds me of an article that I was reading about Ghost in the Shell, how there was a lot of controversy for that. Now, I saw that movie and I thought it was great, but again, I think that we need more Asian representation here. And let me see what we have here. After that, we had... Oh, but one thing that Simon was correct on was the originality. And I do agree with him again. She was a great singer, but I didn't feel like there was an original, unique touch to it. So hopefully she can improve on that. We also have Wesley and Sharon next. And let's see. They did the Japanese tablecloth performance. This is another one that I cannot pass, guys. I mean, it was, what are they doing? It's like, I respect tradition, but like he pulls the tablecloth off, and then all of a sudden he's butt naked and he's got the plates all over his body, and it's like, I don't know, what are we supposed to do? Just drink tea and dine on your body? What's going on here, man? And it was just another one of those shock value things. I cannot pass on you guys. I'm sorry. You're going to have to figure something else out. Come back next year. It's not working this time. And then we have, let's see, we have Duo Transcend. They were very skilled. They were ripped. They were skilled. My favorite part of their performance was when the lady was on the guy's ankles and he flipped her up and caught her on the trapeze, and that was very impressive and very skillful. This is another one though where I'm a little concerned about originality, because I've seen trapeze artists before and they're great and I respect their skill. I think they would be great at booking something at a circus or a Vegas act, but they are very skilled. I need something more to keep me interested in later episodes. So I'm not too sure how long they're going to last on the show, even though they're very skilled at what they're doing. So we're coming pretty close to the end of the performances here. We had Annalise, which was the Daredevil, and man, I mean, she just got exploded. That was, whoa. I mean, I'm glad that she's okay. It looked like that was pretty rough. I mean, it would be pretty bad to, yeah, just be in the middle of an explosion, period. But it was, I mean, it was cool. It was cool. I know that we've had Daredevil performances though again, and I mean, even in that episode there was the Scorpion guy. I forget his name, unfortunately, but it was just originality. Another concern for originality that I have. So hopefully she can mix it up. I don't want her to kill herself. Stay safe out there, girl. But let's see what else we can have just to keep things interesting. I'm excited to see what you do. And we had Amanda Manna. She was a great singer once again. And like I said before, originality. So with all the singers and dancers, I think they have the hardest struggle in going with originality. But we'll see who survives to the end. Now, as far as the whole show is concerned, I want to move on to our special segment for our fans here. So guys, the big question that I have for you overall is, what were your favorite performance of episodes 3 and 4? What was your favorite performance? And then also, what do you think was the worst performance? And worst / funniest performance. It's all pretty much the same for me. Like I said before, I got to go with, in episode 3, I'm definitely going with Seth Ward for being the worst, but also the funniest, because I was just so amazed at how outlandish he was being. And Yuri and Constantine, that virtual reality, that was, wow. I want to see what else they design in all the future episodes to come. I would definitely see them going to later rounds, maybe even a final round. So we'll see how they do with that. And as far as episode 4 goes, Dance Team UDI, it's a tough choice for me between Dance Team UDI and Quinn and Misha. I guess I just favor the dances, because I love dancing. But I'm going to say Dance Team UDI just because, man, this is tough. Oh, man. I think that they have more opportunities for originality. And yeah, and so I'm going to get my decision. I'm going to get my decision right there with them. And then after that, as far as like the worst performances, there really wasn't a lot of terrible Oh, yes. There was the freaking tablecloth. I can't with you guys. No, that's not going to do. Alrighty, guys. Well, I do want to do a couple of fan shout outs here. Josh Birch, you mentioned in our last after show for America's Got Talent that we did not mention Shinlim and Sacred Rihanna. They were very good performances, and thank you for pointing that out. Guys, if there's any other performances that you wish I had gone in more detail about, definitely comment on it below, and we can focus on that, maybe do a little snippet towards the end of the next episode on those performances as well. And I think, let's see, we also had Miss Fitzgerald. You commented as well, so thank you for the comments. We love it when you guys interact with the show. As far as my predictions for who's going to keep moving on, I think I've already made that pretty clear that Yuri and Constantine, I think that they should move on, and I hope that they do. And Quinn and Misha, I think that they do deserve to move on, as well as Dance Team UDI into later and later episodes of the show. Hopefully they all make it to the finals. So that is pretty much going to be it for us today, guys. So thank you so much for joining me here. And once again, I do want to let you guys know that I am Sean Paul Payton. You can find me on Instagram at Sean Paul Payton. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys for our sponsors, for our founders, for everybody involved in this show. And we'll buzz you later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Keven Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.